if you saw my video all about Bath, you would have heard me say that I hope to live there one day. But in all honesty, it may have taken 4 years, but Bristol really has started to grow on me. If you're an Anglophile like myself and you're looking to head over to the UK for the first time, or maybe a second or third time, here are some things that you may want to think about, especially when you're looking at visiting Bristol. I feel like Bristol is one of the most underrated cities in England, and I don't understand why. My husband used to always say this to me, and I would laugh because I would say, you're so passionate about Bristol and you're so proudly Bristolian, but there have been so many monumental things about this city that I feel like most of the world doesn't know about. And if it happened in London, people would know about it. Now, with that being said, I do feel like Bristol kind of got on the map when this moment happened.
You got it!
But it also is known for a lot of great other things too. So let's get into some of those facts and some of the reasons why you might want to visit Bristol. So first things first, there is so much history in this city. I think what people don't realize is back before we had planes, we had boats. And be it that Bristol has a harbor, Bristol was one of the biggest main cities to the rest of the world. And so there is so much that happened by going through Bristol. And there's so much history surrounding that you can come to this city and see. Now, I feel like this happens in many places here in the UK, but I love when I can just go down a normal street in this city and see so many plaques on the wall and finding out what happened there and the history around it. There's a building on Park Street, which is like the main street through the city, I would say. And I was walking there. I think I have a picture of it and I'll put it right here. And I was walking up it and I took a picture in front of it. And on the plaque, it said that this was the place where the camera was invented, I'm pretty sure. And think about how often we use a camera. I'm using a camera right now. Use your camera on your phone, I'm sure, almost every day for the most part, for a lot of people, you know, whether it's your kids, whether it's your dog, etc., whether it's something to do for work. And it's just amazing to walk by that place knowing that, like, this is where it all started for the story of the camera. There is also a house, honestly, within walking distance. I mean, it's a little bit of a walk, but walking distance of where we live, and they did a 4-part TV series on it, or maybe it was 3 parts, and they followed what happened in this house throughout time. Another thing in Bristol, if you saw my London video, you would have heard me say how museums are totally a part of the culture here in the UK that I feel like a lot of people don't think of when they think about being an Anglophile. If you head to the M Shed, which is a Bristol museum, you don't have to pay to go in. You will find out so much about this city, and you really can immerse yourself in the culture here once you start to learn a little bit about it. Now, the next thing that you may not realize when you're coming to Bristol is how much is filmed here. Literally at this exact moment in time, Neil Patrick Harris is here filming Doctor Who. And I think Bristol and London are quite known for their TV productions, and I believe Cardiff as well, which is over in Wales. And Bath gets a lot of things filmed in it as well because Bath has held on to its historical look. So a lot of period dramas get filmed in Bath as well. And I think because Bristol is so close to Bath, it's very easy to get a film crew there. But that being said, Bristol has so much filming that happens here. So maybe you are somebody that wants to break into the film industry. I have a friend who works as an extra and she makes some nice money with it. And it's not like she's trying to be famous, but she can still immerse herself in that environment. Now, I don't know if there's any correlation with this, but there are so many famous actors that are from Bristol as well. I mean, Darth Vader was from Bristol, but I think because his voice is disguised, we don't hear that accent. And I think a lot of people, from what I've heard, try to disguise their Bristolian accent because it sounds a little bit like a pirate, which makes me move into the next thing that you might want to know about Bristol. Be it that Bristol was a harbor city, or is a harbor city, sorry, so many pirates come from Bristol.
Okay, Paul, where are we?
Landover Trout.
And what happened here?
It's a boozer.
Okay.
It's been around for over 350 years.
Uh-huh.
And Blackbeard and a few other pirates used to drink in there.
And who's Blackbeard?
He's a pirate. He's like the most famous pirate going, and he was from Bristol.
And that's why you're...
Edward Teaching it, his name is, I think.
Is that why your accent is the way that it is?
So it's been shut for a while, but I think it is reopened. It's not open now.
And Blackbeard is one of them.
So we're now at Hatchet, one of the oldest pubs in Bristol, and it used to host some pretty nasty people like Blackbeard the pirate. And if you look in the door, there's actually a bit of writing that I can't read from here, all about Blackbeard. And the door's got human skin in it.
A few months ago, you would have seen us go to a pub called The Hole in the Wall.
So we're just around the corner from the Landogger, and another pub called The Hole in the Wall in Bristol, and this is supposedly the place where Jim Hawkins meets Long John Silver in Treasure Island. And they changed the name of the pub to the Spyglass, but the inspiration behind it is supposed to be this pub.
Now, be it that there were so many ships that went through Bristol, obviously we have to talk about the harbour side. Walking around the harbour side is such an amazing experience, and I absolutely love doing it on the weekend with my husband. It is lively, it is fun, it is a great way to spend your weekend without feeling like you're going to a beach or the seaside. Now, technically the Bristol Harbour isn't a part of the sea. I think it's called a estuary, and then it goes into the River Avon, but obviously we're on an island, so some of the ocean is then going to run up the channels and then become a river into the island. There's a festival that happens in the summer around Bristol Harbour, which is definitely an experience not to be missed, along with the balloon fiesta. Definitely, if you're coming over here in the summer months, see if you can coordinate your trip with those events. Now, Bristol also isn't that far from Glastonbury, and so Glastonbury is actually happening this weekend or perhaps next weekend. So you can definitely make a quick trip down into Somerset and visit Glastonbury as well. Be it that Bristol is a harbour city, there are tons of almshouses that surround the harbour. And I wasn't too familiar with them until I started looking into it. And I asked my husband, what are these almshouses? Alms. I struggled to say it even. And so I thought we could look at some of that.
So these are almshouses. They were set up by charities to house sailors that could no longer pay their way in society. So they would put up merchants' almshouses. See?
You don't
Probably.
know.
I don't know a lot about it, but I mean, there's a massive sign up there.
So basically they were like, almost think of it like a hostel, but for
like
sailors, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I feel like another thing that people are starting to know Bristol for is the art. Banksy is from Bristol.
Okay, we're talking about art, Paul Davis. What's over there?
Banksy.
And who's Banksy?
Bristolian graffiti artist.
Okay. And would you say this is the
Famous.
most famous one?
Probably.
What's it called?
Well, hung lover, I think.
Why?
It's a bit of a play on words.
Yeah.
He's hanging out the window. He's well hung.
Even though it's not the type of art that I feel like will really speak to an Anglophile, I think if you're learning something in the last 3 videos of us talking about the different places in England, like Bath, London, and Bristol, you're starting to see that art is so much a part of the culture here. And if you're really trying to be an Anglophile, you will want to start immersing yourself in the culture and the art. Now, the last 2 things that I want to quickly talk to you about Bristol is the fact that Bristol is also known as a city of churches. There are churches on every single corner here. And I'm sad to report that not all of them are used as churches anymore, and many of them were bombed in the war. But last but not least, I think why people here in England really love Bristol is Bristol is one of the most happening cities. If you like the hustle and bustle of London, but it's a little bit too much for you, Bristol is a great place with a great nightlife and a great food scene. So I definitely recommend you checking it out if you want to live or experience what actual Brits are experiencing. Anyways, my friends, that is it for this video. Let me know in the comments. Have you been to Bristol? Do you love it like I've learned to? I would love to hear your experience.